Blog Talk Radio.
It seems like I got nothing to do. Hit up SimFBall Radio. I'm listening to one of the top podcasts, and they bringing you the real. And when they talk sports, it feels like you on the field. From real talk to real sports, from Madden to 2K, just listen for one day. They'll grab you when you say it's on the net, man. Turn off your stereo, not music. I mess with SimFBall Radio.
This is a recording. Sim Standard Radio will not be I'm just playing, y'all. We're back, man. We're live. Back for another show, man. Last week, we had to do a pre-recorded show. Like we told you guys, we had Easter and things of that nature. So, we just definitely needed to try that out because, like I said, man, throughout the year and, going forward, there's going to be times where it's best for us to just do a pre-recorded podcast type of situation. So hopefully, hopefully you guys enjoyed it. I hope it wasn't, underwhelming or anything like that. It is what it is, but we're back, man. We're definitely back, and we're happy to be back live because we definitely have some good topics to talk about. And I think I can speak for the guys, man. We like the live show because it's unexpected. You never know what may happen. You never know who may call, and you just never know where the conversations may go. But welcome back to Sim Standard Radio. This is episode 48. And, of course, we want to thank Jive Turkey for the great intro. We always appreciate that. And before we get started, man, we're going to go around and see how Smitty is doing. Azure will be on. He actually has some things going on, personally, but he will be on a little bit later. So let's go ahead and check with Smitty. What's going on, Smitty? How you doing tonight, man?
Doing good, man. Ready to do another live show, you know what I'm saying? Definitely looking forward to getting it in. Definitely want to hear from the callers and everything, you know what I'm saying? Please, one thing that I love, I don't mind seeing the dialogue, that goes on when people are not able to listen to the show live and everything. That's awesome. But I would love it if people could, instead of speaking about it just on Twitter alone, call into the show if you're able to. Call in and express your thoughts live directly to us. You know what I'm saying? Instead of doing a post-mortem on, what you think about what we say and everything, call into the show. It's an open platform. You know what I'm saying? That second hour, please call in. We want to hear from everybody. Whether you oppose everything we say, you don't like what we say, or if you even like what we say and you just want to add your 2 cents to it, by all means, please call in. We definitely encourage it. That's why we put it at the ends of our videos and everything. Call into the show. This is what the video, the link to the show is and everything. So please call in. We want to hear from everybody, especially, topics and even your own thoughts that you just want to publicly share. Please bring it forth. But I'm definitely excited about doing the show. So.
Absolutely, man. And I'm definitely going to echo that. It's funny, like I told you, man, when it's live, you can kind of see what kind of chemistry we all have because that was on my mind to mention that as well. And as you can see, Smitty already did it. It's like, and let me say this real quick because it definitely needs to be said. I told the guys this, but I'm going to go ahead and tell everybody else. I'm absolutely no longer going to address things on Twitter. I know I've said it before, and for the most part, we don't really engage in the rhetoric. But, like shows ago, come on, we're all men. Every now and then, you may say something here and there because it's Twitter. Twitter is not like YouTube. It's not like a video where you got to go and listen to the video and leave a comment because as you all can tell, I never do that. But when somebody is just hitting your phone all day, constantly, sometimes you might react. I mean, who wouldn't? But I have decided that I'm no longer answering questions in regards to ignorance. Now, if you have a discussion or if you're asking me a question about Madden or, even if you disagree with a point, cool, we can do that briefly. But I'm going to treat it just like I do my job. We have a live chat feature at my job. I do help desk stuff and IT stuff. And sometimes people go a little too long on the live chat. And I'll be like, listen, I may have to give you a call or something. This chat is supposed to be quick and fast. That's what Twitter is about. Quick and fast. I'm not having no more conversations with some of these guys on Twitter about nothing. We're not talking about the game, or we're not just having a regular conversation, or we're not talking about how the sim community can improve, or we're not supporting someone in the sim community. Don't even tweet me, because if you do, I'm going to reply every time with the same thing I just replied to a couple of guys yesterday, or it might have even been today. The little emoji with the Z's on it, basically saying that I'm okay, I'm asleep. I'm not listening to this issue. That's all you're going to get from me. Call the show. Call this show a live show where we can talk, we can even debate. And, hey, since you think you big and bad, you might even catch me off guard. You might even trip me up and make me look dumb, which I doubt it. But that's the opportunity you have with live radio. Nobody can run, nobody can duck. And you know what really would happen at the end of the day? We would hash it out like men, grown men. Talk it out. Let the community be the jury and they hear what's going on. And then you got everybody calling in and giving their opinion. That's what you should be doing. So, like Smitty just did every week at the beginning of the show, we're going to officially invite, and here's the official invite. We would like to invite anybody who has an opinion or anybody who, disagrees with something that we may be doing or one of us personally that you have an issue with. Let's call the show and talk it out. Because like we said before, man, it's all about pushing the sim community forward. I'm not getting into all that division and all that blah, blah, and unity, and let me explain what I mean by that. Some people I'm just never going to unite with because they don't have the right mindset. It's pointless. Ain't no need of me trying to hold hands with them and singing Kumbaya. It ain't going to happen. Because some of you dudes I don't even want to rock with anyway. I want no dealings with you. But what I will do is I will continue to support everyone in the sim community who is actually being effective, giving real ideas, giving real feedback, giving real criticism, but doing it in a way where I can present it, whether that's through video, through email, or through this show, because the devs listen to this show. So that's all I got to say. Open invitation every week. Give us a call. If you got an issue, you got a beef, you want to say hey, you want to say nay, you want to say good job, you want to tell us kiss your butt, whatever it is you want to do, just call the show. This is what it's for. So anyway, man, let's go ahead and get into the topics, man. We got a real good show tonight, man, and I'm trying to hold off a little bit until Azur gets in here, but I don't want to hold off too much because we definitely don't want it to get to a point where we're over talking, and how it goes every week. We get to go on into the topics, and then we're leaving just a little bit of time for the callers. So yeah, let's just go ahead and jump into it, man. I'm sure Azur, we can be able to bring him up to speed when he gets in. But tonight, man, we have a few topics to discuss, and some of them kind of run together. And let me put this out there right now. We definitely want to lean heavily on you callers tonight because we want to get some feedback. Azur sent it out earlier today on Twitter, as did I. And it's important why we're doing it. There's a reason. There's a method to the madness, so to speak. So, one of the topics that we'll definitely discuss is we want to hear your top 10 list of things left to fix in Madden, gameplay-wise. Strictly gameplay. Of course, we know there's other areas, but we want to hear what everyone's top 10 is. And this is important. We can't go into detail to explain to you exactly why we're asking, but just trust us on it. Give us the top 10 list, and I want to say that topic first to give you guys a chance to think about it before you call. You guys who are listening online, if you want to give us a call when we open it up for callers, you can reach us at 914-338-0794. All right, now the next topic we want to talk about is in 2015, in 2015, what can be done now about the 2005 debacle? And what we mean by that, guys, is we're going to briefly talk about, what happened with Madden 06. Everybody knows what happened. But we want to kind of talk about what can we do to move past that? What can be done in this state in 2015 to change that. And we'll make a little more sense once we jump into the topic. You'll kind of see where we're going with that. The next thing we want to find out from the community, again, this is, definitely relative to the caller. What is it what is it you hate about Madden? What do you hate about the game? And we want to hear some real opinions. We don't want to hear it's trash. We don't want to hear that. We want to hear specifically, what is it that you hate about Madden? What drives you away from it? What is it you dislike about the game? We'll also give you our dislikes and things like that as well. Because, these things are important, man. These are topics that we talk about over and over and over, but I kind of feel like the community is not getting anywhere because no one really breaks things down, and they don't decide one way or another. You know what I mean? It's just a whole lot of rhetoric over nothing, and we're losing our way. Like, we're losing the reasons why people don't like these games or what have you. So we need to try to get grounded and bring that back and kind of find out what exactly is the problem. Because, I won't give it away, but I will say this real quick before we get into it. There's oftentimes I ask people what's wrong with Madden. And believe it or not, there's people who just tell me, it's trash because confidence doesn't work in CFM. They say nothing about gameplay. Think about that, folks. There are people out here that they have no complaint about the gameplay. So that's why, as a community figure, and as we are, appointed leaders, so to speak, and that's you guys did it. That's not self-appointed by us. We want to know these things so we can, have these discussions. Then the last thing we want to talk about, and shout outs to Mr. King Harvo, man. Does a great job with the rosters. I know he does 2K4, and, he recently did the new editor for ATF. He's been on the show as well. And he actually gave us a topic. Last week we told you guys to send us a topic or give us some topics that you want us to cover on the show. We definitely appreciate him for that. And that is an open invitation again, guys, man, to keep this show rolling and fresh, man. We want to, have you guys give us topics sometimes as well because, let's be honest, how much can we really talk about every week? We want to be more engaging with you guys, our audience and the community as a whole so we can discuss some of the topics that you provide. But not to get off the topic there, he actually wants to know older football games. Do they still have plenty of life left? And basically what his point was is, doing things like what he does with the roster. And are there older football games out there that you could still be playing? Why isn't older football games being supported more by the community? Or does older football games satisfy your football itch? These are the questions that we'll ask ourselves, and we'll cover those topics. So there it is, guys. That's what we'll be talking about tonight. Let's go ahead and jump into it right now. And I guess, Smitty, trying to figure out where we should start because, the first three topics really kind of run together. So let's go ahead and hit that 2015 and what can we do about the 2005 debacle. I guess that's a good place to start. So what do you think we could do, man? What can be done right now, Smitty? Are we wasting our time? I say we as a whole community still worrying about that or what? What should we be really focusing on right now in terms of Madden?
Well, I mean, in a nutshell, I gotta first of all, I gotta shout somebody out because this is what triggered me to think about this perspective. Shout out to Get. I appreciate the dialogue that he gave because it had triggered a thought. And everybody else too, because I see it on Twitter, I see it from guys like VF, like Gerald, like Tariq MMA, and others, G-Rob. These are guys that I mainly follow, so that's why I'm shouting out these people in particular. But nevertheless, when I see all the tweets about, they haven't done anything and it's been 11 years and all that, the thing is, what does Clint have to do with what happened back in 06? What does Rex have to do with it? What does Cam have to do with it? When Vic Lugo was there, what does he have to do with what happened in 05? You know what I'm saying? Now, as far as the devs are concerned, they don't have anything to do with it. But when you look at EA, I understand where the frustration comes from that perspective. I understand that, EA hasn't delivered. It's been so long. It's been so many years. When you hear the same thing over and over and over again, it's gonna cling, no matter what is done positive. Until you ultimately win, you haven't done anything. For example, I use this example all the time. I use my hometown Lions team. Because they haven't won the Super Bowl, not everybody is going to acknowledge the progression they made, regardless of who was there. Regardless of Caldwell being there, regardless of what Schwartz did. People are still going to look at, man, this is the same team that went 0-16. They'll still bring that up today. You know what I'm saying? It's going to take these guys winning the Super Bowl in some cases. I would say in a fair amount of cases, it's going to take them winning a Super Bowl to actually prove their worth. And even then, you're going to have some of those same fans turn right back around and say, oh, no, that was probably a fluke. They're going to have to win another one in order for me to truly believe. You know what I'm saying? And when we look at the frustration that goes with, what's transpired over the years, looking at what this team has done, this current team, like people look at us and get mad at how we talk about Madden because we're not coming out here and just flaming them end over end. And the reason why we're not doing that is because the change that we're demanding for, it is happening. And the reason why I say, and you haven't heard any of us say they've done it yet. We always say it's happening, ing, meaning in the process of. We're not saying it happened, it's done, it's fixed, it's repaired, they did it. It's, Madden is the greatest thing ever, APF and 2K5 are dead, kaput. No, you haven't heard us say anything along those lines at all. Over the few years we've been going down to EA. You know what I'm saying? So we haven't forgot the frustration. That's just like me. I haven't forgot that the Lions in 2008, I think it was 2009 season or 08 or 09 season. I haven't forgot that the Lions went 0-16. But at the same time, I'm not gonna. That doesn't mean I'm just gonna all of a sudden. I'm just not gonna acknowledge the progression Jim Schwartz made while his tenure was here with the Lions. Even though, did he have winning seasons every single year? No, he didn't. But the team still did make progress. But he had realistic obstacles to overcome. Stuff can't be denied. It can't be, well, we got this new coach. They better go to the Super Bowl next year. That logic makes no sense. You got to factor in everything that goes along with it. And that's the same thing when it comes to Caldwell. What played a role in terms of Caldwell having a successful season? Yeah, he had his coaching philosophies and ideals and his staff, of course, but he also benefited off the sweat that was already put in beforehand from Schwartz. I mean, you know what I'm saying? Having Ndamukong Suh, and Fairley and Ansah and, Tulloch and all that, he benefited. So he became a direct beneficiary off of what was laid before him. And he just took his philosophies and he tried to take them to another level. Now, mind you, he had injuries and stuff like that happen and all that, but still, you've seen what he was able to do this year. Now he's going to have a realistic obstacle to face because now we may be losing George Johnson. We lost Sue. We lost Fairley. You see what I'm saying? So now it's going to be a real challenge. He's going to have adversity to overcome going into this next season realistically. So for me to throw the expectations, okay, you know what? Now they got to mess around and get a bye and win the division and win the NFC. I don't know if he'll be able to necessarily to be able to achieve that or not. He might be able to, but a lot of factors are going to play into that. And that's what I'm saying. Looking at everything realistically, yes, am I upset that the Lions took this long to fire Millen and get the right people in there? Yes, that is the upsetting part about the Lions franchise that, yes, I am upset with. But they have made the changes necessary and took the necessary steps in terms of getting the positive change to potentially get a positive outcome, which is what we want. And now when we look at video gaming in terms of this Madden franchise, is that exact same kind of thing happening here? Yes. Remember we talked about double team pass blocking? Remember we talked about the swerve running that would happen all up and down the field? Remember when we talked about read and react and receivers actually locating the ball or DBs locating the ball, head tracking it, and then making plays on it? Remember, like, just those things alone. These are all things that we brought up and made all kinds of vids about. And they happen in the game. Remember us talking about real-time physics having to be in the game going forward? It has to be in there. They're implementing it. Now, once again, ING, in the process of. We're not saying that it's perfect. We know that the defenders, they're not rap tackling. They're not grabbing on. They're not latching. We have said that many times over. They need to rap. They need to get that. You know what I'm saying? Even Rex, if you remember the live stream, when he shouted out the Sim Standard guys were like that, but he said that the full vision has not been fully lived out. He said it then. Game ain't even out yet, and he telling me. So that's what I'm saying. Like, these guys aren't saying we got the game all the way there. They know they don't have it there. So that's why when I look at 2015 and say what they can do about 2005, they can't do nothing. They can't do a dang on thing about it because they weren't there. None of these guys, Red, all these guys that you see on Twitter or you see doing these interviews, they weren't there. All they could do is work with the situation that was presented to them. So that means the failure of 06, 07, 08 being decent, but then the fall off of 09, 10, 11, and then 12 started to come up, and then from there, 13 and onward came up. But all that stuff, all the calamities and fall downs and stumbles and breaks and miscues that happened before them, they inherited that directly. And they have to work through that. We can't just go with because they made money, they can just throw money at it and say, oh, they made money, so they can just throw it at it and fix it. No, this is big business we're talking about. We ain't talking about a moms and pop shop at the end of a strip mall that made X amount, millions and millions of dollars off of Ultimate Team and everything. This is a huge company with subsidiaries, multiple studios in multiple locations, and all kinds of projects that they work on that require research, development, all kinds of things. And I ain't talking about just sports games either. I'm talking about these games that take years to build. You don't know how much money is being distributed throughout all of this. So we can't sit here and say because they made money here, that means they should be able to do X, Y, Z. It's not as simple as that. And then the last thing I'll talk on, and I'll throw it to Sim. The whole 3-year plan bit. I know that's the whole, that's the traditional thing that's thrown around this community. But this is the thing that we wanted from EA. We wanted EA to be more open with us. We wanted to know what was going on. So when Cam came in, and I'm guilty of it too, I didn't know that he said that the plan was going to be beyond 3 years. He said the plan was going to be a rolling plan, meaning that it was going to be continuous development, not the traditional 3-year spanning cycle, the 3-year stiff plan that's in place, and that's it. He said this back in 2011 on a OS article that he did an interview with someone. And he said it's ongoing. These other companies too, just because you don't hear 2K say, we got a 3-year plan, you think they fly by the seat of their pants when they develop these games? Heck no. They're not investing tens of millions of dollars in these games to just fly by the seat of their pants, only to be clueless for the next year's game. They have plans. They have plans for the money that they make. That My Team money, that's going into 2K projects. You know what I'm saying? It may not necessarily just be 2K Sports. That could possibly go into another 2K. That could be a Borderlands project. We don't know. But the thing is, these companies don't fly by the seat of their pants. MLB The Show, they're not going by the seat of their pants. Just because they're not telling us, oh yeah, we got this plan and this is what our agenda is, that doesn't mean they don't have one. Every product you use, whether it's dish soap to a car you drive, these companies have 2-year, 3-year, 5, 7, 8-year plans, 12-year plans and all that. They have outlooks and projections and all kinds of stuff. This is business. This is corporate entities right here. This is not an EA specific thing. You know what I mean? When we're talking about big business. So, I mean, this is the kind of thing that I would love for us as a community to get more educated and more acclimated to these business elements, because we complain about them. Why not learn about them so then we understand the rhyme and the reason behind why things go the way they go? You know, that's ultimately the goal right there. But like I said, keeping it on topic. You know, I'm sorry to be long-winded with this, but I just wanted to express a few things with this point. But 2005 was a horrendous debacle. The NFL awarded EA with the NFL license. They chose to give them the license. No game company is going to overthrow the NFL. I'm sorry, they didn't force the NFL's hand. The NFL said, "Here, we're going to award you with it." Now, it's on EA to deliver the product. They messed up big time those years, and we all know the years they fell off and faltered. So now it's time to pick up the ball and go from there. What do we do next? What's the next thing to do? Well, now you bring in these guys, Cam and all these dudes that are getting the game there. It's not going at the speed we want, but it is moving in the right direction that we wanted it to. I don't care if people don't like hearing that. It takes time to turn a franchise around. Guess what? It takes time to turn a product around. It takes time. I'm sorry. That's just the reality of the situation. You don't have to like it, but that's what we're here to do. We're here to tell you the real about the situation and not the overall acceptable opinion that you just want to agree with, you know, with others on. Like, that's what we're here to do. That's why we go down to EA, we come back and we let you guys know what the truth is. The hurtful, honest truth. It's going to take these dudes time. That's why we tell you, if you don't want to rock with it, leave the game on the freaking shelf and don't touch it. Just leave it there and play. Hey, now we got Montana coming. So hopefully that game is the true hotness. Because, I mean, I'm going to be rocking both either way. But if, you know what I'm saying, hey, you don't touch Madden, play Montana only. Do what you do. You know what I'm saying? Have fun. Enjoy football gaming at the end of the day. So, but I'll pass it to Sim from there.
You know, it's funny that I'll take it in a slightly different direction. I wish that there were some guys that were connected to developers that relayed information back in 2005. You know why? Because maybe somebody would have been able to tell me, hey, man, don't expect Madden 06 to be what you think it's going to be. Maybe they could have given me the heads up. You know, I wished there were people like that. Before I had the opportunity to go down to EA like I do and be, you know, inducted into this program and all of that, I've always wished I've had some guys that could tell me exactly what's going on. And the funny thing about it all, we tell you exactly what's going on inside of that company. You've never once heard us say, we love Madden, I love it, it's the best game on earth, that's all I do is play Madden. You've never heard us campaign for you to purchase the game. You've even heard us tell you not to buy the game. You hear us talk about competition. You hear us talk about Joe Montana loud and proud on this show. You hear us do all of these things, but yet for some strange reason, you get mad at us for being the community advocate or what have you. And what's even funnier, I gotta say this, what's even funnier is you guys have appointed us as your leader, which to me is hilarious because you find guys that'll say stuff like, You know, as a leader, you got to be able to, you know, accept criticism. Oh, okay. So calling me out my name is criticism. Like, it's so comical. And yes, you know, and you all know I don't say names on the show because I don't feel like you need to give light. But I don't want it to be mistaken. If you are doing this, I am absolutely talking about you. You know who I'm talking to. And I don't care. I'm that type of guy. If I saw you face to face, I would tell you the same thing. Because as a man, I would tell you what I got to say to you in your face. I ain't expecting to fight you or nothing like that because I don't get down like that. Where I'm from, we say what we got to say. Now, if you want to throw the fair one, we can do that. I ain't running away from that either. That's just how I was brought up, bro. But I'm the type of guy that's going to tell you what it is. Like Smitty and Azur can tell you. I've been down at EA and I've talked to the devs like, nah, I don't like that. Not in a disrespectful way, but Sim going to say what he got to say. And these fellas do the same thing. So not to get off the point, let's go back to the whole debacle thing. I recall a lot of people, some of these same people were the main ones that were saying this is why it's broken. The engine messed up, and blah, 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 and blah, blah, blah. Some of the same people would say when Cam came in, man, it's going to take like 8 years. There's no way they're going to be able to do that in a short amount of time. Some of the same people said that. I actually got comments on my videos from these people saying that. But then when the game drops, they have amnesia like, what? It ain't perfect? When they said themselves it was going to take. I got one of these guys that actually said, man, the game ain't going to be nice until Madden 17. They said this 2 years ago. But for some reason, when Madden 25 came out, they had so much to say. It's hilarious, man. But getting back on the topic, guys, we have nothing vested in this. We could very easily close this show down. I could very easily, let me say this just so some of y'all can understand what time it is. I am partnered on YouTube. I'm fortunate enough to be able to make a little money on YouTube. But do you know how much money I could make if I just chose to entertain you? If I chose to not be SimFBallCritic with just under 7,000 subscribers. Do you know how easy it would be for me to get 20,000 subscribers if I just started doing stuff that I know y'all don't like? If it was about the money? But no, I decided to just be Sim, the football guy. Yeah, I'm going to do some new stuff here and there. Y'all, you're going to see some stuff coming. But I'm still the same Sim guy that breaks down games, gives feedback, instead of becoming this mega star on YouTube. So my point is, we're only doing this because we care about the community. We don't need this show. We don't need no YouTube. We go to EA a couple times a year. I talk to these dudes almost on a daily. So it's funny to me that the people that are, poking fun and pointing fingers and saying F you, F this, it's hilarious how we even sit here and deal with it when we don't have to. Like, y'all are the ones that are like, it's idiotic because you're not using your resources. I'll say this last thing before I welcome Azur in. We all know by now that community guys, not just game changers, there have been community guys who have gone down to EA. Ask yourself this. How come you've never gotten an invite? Interesting. One of the guys got an invite. He knows who he is. But you know why? Even though he's one of these guys, too, that likes to say my name a lot. But what does he do that a lot of you guys don't? He makes videos. At the end of the day, even I can sit here and say that man makes good videos when he keeps it about football. But as soon as he got something to say about SimFBallCritic or my guys here or the Sim Standard in general, I ain't got nothing to say to you. I don't want to hear what you talking about. But guess what? You make good football videos. And it got yourself an invite to EA, which a whole lot of you guys will never go because you still haven't figured out that it should be about feedback in the now. A guy like Clint tries to reach out to you guys But what y'all want to do? Bash him. It's hilarious, man. I've talked to some of these devs, and they literally told me, man, do anybody ever point out the things we have done right? And we kick back and laugh at it because, like, man, they just don't get it. They're trying to help, but you guys are shooting it down by just, I don't know, man. But like I said, all I would advise you to do going forward, just listen to us. We ain't going to lie to you, bro. We don't get no check from EA. There's no benefit in us doing what we're doing. Some would actually say we shouldn't be this close to you. Ponder on that. But anyway, welcome Azure, man. I'm glad he's in the show, man. Let me bring you up to speed, man. I mean, you pretty much know what the topics are, but I'm gonna go ahead and throw it to you. Yeah, right now, we're just basically talking about the 2015 as being right now. You know, what can be done about the 2005 debacle? And what we were talking about was, of course, what went wrong with Madden and the fact that those developers were not there. So what's the point of us continuing to go back to then, still complaining about that instead of trying to move forward and do what we can do with these guys?
I'll give you a perfect example, man. I'm guilty of doing that. I'm a fan of the old YouTube, the original Sim Standard, Apex is Free, SimFBallCritic, Smitty versus Azure, that crap. I'm a fond of that time of YouTube. But I do understand where YouTube is now and how it's mostly like kids shows, get a couple catchphrases and do entertaining stuff and pull some mud packs. And, you know, you get your 20,000 views and call it a day. Back in old YouTube, you had to make points, you had to make sense, you had to have a certain amount of validity, and the community respected that. And that's how you got your Sim Standard. Now, it is what it is. And the fact of the matter is, if every time I took to Twitter, I took to YouTube, I was always talking about that, wouldn't that get repetitive? Man, bring you old YouTube back. I hate this new YouTube. And that's what dudes do in the community. Seems like we get to a point to where we say, oh, okay, we're making some strides. Oh, 2005, 2006, let us not forget. And the community got to come on with that, man. It's different people. We sat on this show and said this millions of times. Different people that we are holding accountable for, even though it is the same company. It's under a different direction and under different leadership, totally, than what was going on in 2005. So the community itself, man, has to mature. And for the most part, I'm seeing maturity from because you're talking about individuals who might have been maybe 17, now they're 22. And if you haven't done a reasonable amount of growing from 17 to 22, I can't help you. I mean, because I've matured so much so, man, because when I started this, I was not a father or a husband. But at the point that we are now, I'm both of those. So the fact of the matter is, it's about more than games. And until individuals get a hold of that, I don't know whether something has to happen in your life. Maybe, I mean, I don't wish ill on anybody, but maybe you lose your job and, you know, you got to get away from the computer at some point. But you got to start weighing this stuff out, man. What happened in 2005? It's 2015. Let's look forward. I told Casper, shout out to Casper on Twitter today, this should be a good time in the community. You have 2 games coming out, supposedly. You know, Damon Groh and Joe Montana can deliver a game. We still need information on it. Getting tired of saying that. But we are in the crux of having 2 games again And it's been a while since we did that. You know, we did it. We had multiple games, All Pro Football 2K, Madden 08, then Backbreaker, which I believe was what? Backbreaker went up against what? Madden 12?
Madden 11.
Madden 11, okay. So
Yeah.
Backbreaker went up against Madden 11. So it's been since then that we haven't had 2 games. So the possibility of 2 games comes along, and guess what? You have to troll. Now tell me what's the need of that an individual going from 17 to 22. Some of you all going from 25 to 30 or 30 to 35 and still haven't matured. So if we have individuals who've gone from 14 to 19 and they can call the show, I think we had one young man call the show, so he's been, playing Madden for a while, and he starts to see, the progression and what's going on. If he can see it, why can't you at 35 years old, 40 years old, catch the drift? You know what I'm saying? It's time out in the community for immaturity and slinging mud back and forth. Like Sim said this the other day. Why do you have to bring Madden into Joe Montana conversation? Why would you tag Clint in something that Damon Grove posted? I mean, they follow each other. I'm pretty sure that if Damon wants to reach out to Clint, he could do it, or vice versa. He doesn't need you to connect those dots. So, I mean, let the games stand alone as they are. Let them compete against each other. And when they come out as a football fan, if this sim community, which is supposed to be hardcore football fans, if you're a hardcore football enthusiast, play both games for what they are. Call positivity and negativity in both. And what you see, call a spade a spade. Play it straight down the line, unbiased. If something ugly happens in Joe Montana, you need to say it. You don't need to say, no, don't make excuses for him. Oh, it's the first year. No. If you want them to improve as a product and a company, you got to call that stuff out. And that's what we've been doing, calling stuff to the carpet. So don't let Joe Montana slide when it comes out. For those of you all who are up there sack riding this whole time, it's a Madden killer, and you went off the OS post, and some of that stuff, information turned out not to be true. When that game comes out and it has flaws, and you don't call them out, you look even more silly 5 years later. So we'll see. And I said this in Madden 12, I think maybe Madden 13 Community Day when I went down, that you would eventually start to see who the real nitpickers are. And that has come true more so now than ever, because we weren't nitpickers. We were calling out flaws and stuff that we saw. You couldn't go 2 or 3 plays in Madden without finding something that was just absolutely atrocious. So now that the game is starting to get better, it's at least more aesthetically pleasing than it was. Not going to say it's there yet, but you start to see individuals who are nitpicking. So call a spade a spade. And we don't have individuals in the community that say that we don't put up negative videos on Madden. Well, I hadn't done videos in a while, so you couldn't really be talking about me. But whatsoever, whatever you want to call it. But what's the point of that when Casper brought this up? And I'm going to try to bring it home and then pass it out to Smith. Casper said the devs know the problems already. Because I put out on Twitter, I wanted to know people's top 10 fixes for Madden gameplay still left to do. And Casper said, the devs know the problem already. Why are you asking us? And that will soon be revealed in time, because let the truth be told, 2 games are coming out. We're going to see which of these 2 games hits on stuff that is left to be desired in football. I'm going to just leave it at that. And I'll pass it to Smith.
Well, yeah, man. Actually, we'll go ahead and jump to the next topic real quick and get back in the normal rotation. But I just wanted to say this real quick. and I, some people probably going to get pissed behind this, but I'm going to keep it real fast, man, before I throw it to Smitty. sometimes I don't know if as a whole, if this is the sim community or the film community. Because I'm going to keep it honest, man. Only time I remember my moves being clocked like this was when I was unmarried years ago, doing my thing, talking to a few chicks at one time. That was when I was getting my moves clocked. Every time I did something, went something, said something, text something, somebody was like, what you doing? What you doing? That's how some of these cats are treating me. So I swear, man, sometimes it feels like we're in the film community. Because I had somebody tweet me the other day, you know how I do my little joke thing with Damon Grow, and it's funny because Damon don't have a problem with it. I know how I joke with him, and I say, I'm going to tweet you every day and tell you, finally tell us what platform the game is on. I got dudes sending me tweets saying, man, it's kind of pointless to be asking them every day. Why are you worried about what I'm doing? Just answer that question. Why are you so focused on what other people are doing? Do your thing. Just had to say that, man, because like I said, it's live radio, and sometimes things come to my mind, so it is what it is, man. But let's move on to the next topic. We can kind of link these two together. And actually, well, the one we'll keep for callers. The one topic, and if we have time, we'll come back and we'll, give our top 10. But just to hit off of what Azur just said, what he tweeted out today, and I actually ironically tweeted it out as well, is saying, what are your top 10 list of things that you want to see fixed in Madden? Only gameplay. We're just asking for gameplay right now. And we're looking forward to guys who are going to call to give their top 10. And, like Azur said, there's a reason for us asking this question. If we have time, we'll come back and, we'll give you some of our list of things that we want to see. But I want to go ahead and jump on to the next topic, man, because we're coming up on the second hour, so we don't want to, take too much time for the callers. But basically, what exactly is it that you hate about Madden? And this is a question we have to ask because, just to say my piece real quick, I'm finding different answers. And funny, oddly enough, I'm getting answers from people that I would expect to say other things. And my point of saying that is, everyone is not the same. Yes, we are a sim football community, but everyone likes different things. You guys remember me saying this a year or two ago. A Madden game will come out, it might address that feature that you wanted. Now it's the best game ever. Same game might come out, and the one thing that this other guy is looking for is not there. Worst game ever. Those are facts. The fact is, everyone has an opinion. So what I kind of want to find out from the callers, and we'll discuss it here too, what is it that you hate about Madden? What is it that makes you just ball up inside and just hate the game? For me, real quick, and I won't say hate, but the thing that I've always been trying to push, I just want the game to be authentic. And now that the game is getting a little more authentic in terms of actual fundamentals, the problem with me right now is still that the game just doesn't replicate it that well. Yeah, I've said this before on record. You look at 2K8, you look at Madden 15. Both of those games, and whether you believe it or not, they both have football principles. Why is it that APF is better? It's because the way they replicate these scenarios. I've actually shown you on video where APF also has the problem of flat-footed defenders, and a lot of people, of course, what they told me, it's an old game. Yeah, you ain't want to acknowledge that. But we have been on record, and we continue to say APF is probably one of the best football games we play because of the way it replicates the outcomes in the situation as well as the rating system. Outside of that, APF and Madden 15 is not a whole world of difference between the two. Let's just be honest. We can agree that it's definitely the better replicating game. Even I saw Virtual Footballer put out a picture showing how 2K5 had the shadows from the scoreboard on the field. Replication. You see what I'm talking about now? Replication. makes 2K football a little better than Madden football. So that would be mine. I want Madden to start replicating scenarios. I want to see DBs and wideouts interact. I want to see signature styles. I want to see the player stature being a factor in physics, not just physics, but I want to see a 300-pound guy running at full speed has a better chance running into a guy that's 190. At the same time, the 190 guy, if he's in the right position and the 300-pounder is out of position, he could run him over. He could knock him off his feet. Those are the things that hold me back with Madden as far as being satisfied right now with Madden 15. But I'll pass it to you, Smitty. Like, I guess you could say, what do you think it is that people just hate about the game, and maybe what are some of your things?
Well, as far as like what I feel about the game, like the tackling element, while I do see in principle, because I know that it is work in progress. While the tackling is not where it truly needs to be, I can live with that because, like I said, it's progressive. It's not where it needs to be, but it's a heck of a lot better than what was on PS2. You know what I'm saying? Having a scripted animated sequence play out the whole way, regardless of who runs into you or not, which is something we pointed out on SimStandard. Shakedown did a video in particular how all these defenders just bounced off because one animation had to run its course before anybody else could get involved. The tumbleweeding effect, which is coined a lot mainly by Versus. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to him from that back then. That tumbleweed effect doesn't happen now. If a defender hits the ball carrier and an animation triggers, I can have 2 or 3 other defenders come run in and knock him back and stand him still at that yard marker. Now, the only problem is you're not seeing guys wrap up and grab and latch on as they need to. You know what I'm saying? To see a true takedown like as a group. Now, in the NFL, do we always see group tackling happen like that? No, we don't. But in principle, we want to see those kind of things happening. Like that's the kind of stuff we need to see happen. And that's that is a frustrating element. The passing game. You know what I'm saying? The passing game used to be very much on point back in the day. That's a big problem to me. You took the words from me, the immersion factor, in terms of what we see on the field, the shadows, the lighting, playing, making what field goal, what goal you defend make a difference. Because you could be playing into the sunlight, you could be playing into the shadow. You know what I'm saying? And then you can mess around, throw a pass and throw a pick, and it's because you couldn't see. You know what I mean? Because the shadow. So, these are the kind of things that we need that have been lacking from the game. And like I said, while the game, it is progressing, but anything like in terms of complete despise as far as the game is concerned, it's just the lack of differentials. That's the biggest thing for me. Differentials between players and the offense and defensive respect. Zone defense being a lot more intuitive and organic. Wide receivers playing more like their counterparts. Guys like Calvin Johnson dominating not just because of their height, but because of how they're able to attack the ball. Like these are kind of things that lack. Those are the key things for me that have been missing that, we had that in APF. Or, you had it to an extent with the ability system. That's the kind of stuff that we're missing out of Madden. We need those kind of things. You know what I'm saying? At least those are my major gripes. But I'll pass it to Azura.
Yeah, for me, Mike, one of the biggest things that I think ruins it for me is the ball physics in Madden. I just prefer the ball physics in 2K, even with this being scripted, with its tipped animations and tipped passes and incomplete passes. It's more scripted. I like how the ball feels and the ball physics of 2K8. And like Smitty just said, the player ability system, to me, I made a video of that. That's one of my favorite videos because I went through and showcased how each tier is represented and how, having that gold player at a particular position makes your team stand out much more than you would if you had a generic player there. And that's the way it is with having a premium player in the NFL. Like, if the Lions have Calvin Johnson and he goes down, sure, somebody might step up and fill his shoes for maybe a game or two, but consistently, you're not that elite level talent, and it's going to show. So whereas in Madden, as long as you have a 97, 98 speed receiver, to me, hey, you can do your thing. But it's those, abilities and traits that you hear about when you hear players scouted and talked about in the draft. He goes up and high points the ball, or he's a receiver that, attacks the ball at his highest point. He's a great route runner. He has quick feet. He gets in and out of his breaks real good. And that's something that was replicated in All Pro Football 2K that, to me, I've yet to see in Madden. I see a wide receiver just, Reggie Wayne somebody, or Marvin Harrison somebody. Marvin Harrison, Reggie Wayne in Madden, sure, they might catch a lot of passes for you, but they're not an elite player like they were in real life counterpart. And that's something, to me, Madden is still missing. That ball physics, and they got to clean up the physics that they have in the game. You know what I mean? Like, it's too much of an eyesore right now, even though I understand that having that engine, not like FIFA or NHL, you have football is a chaos, and on any one given play, you could have, 8 to 10 people collide, all 11 people collide, and it's unpredictable. It's organized chaos to an extent. So it's to me, it's harder to replicate with the physics, but they've got to clean it up. You know what I mean? Because you be immersed in the game and see something crazy and you just like, man, oh my gosh, this is trash. And it all comes down to how it's translated. Like Sim said, Madden might do some things right, but how it's replicated and how it's seen aesthetically makes it seem inferior. So we have a system, to me, because let's just be honest, Madden gives you unpredictable gameplay. And they're moving towards that more organic gameplay, to whereas All Pro Football 2K, sure, you might see some animations that you hadn't seen before, and that's all well, but we know that the offensive line, defensive line is scripted. We know that the tip animations are scripted. So, as far as going off the script and having an unpredictable football game, whether people want to admit it or not, Madden beats 2K there. And that's probably a hard pill for some people to swallow, but it's not there aesthetically yet. It's not aesthetically pleasing as All Pro Football 2K8 is. And to me, it doesn't have a grounded feel. And this is one of the things I say to Sim all the time. The players have to be connected to the field. And if you get, as soon as Madden can move towards that, connecting players to the field and having, momentum, position, weight, all that means something in terms of digging into the ground and fighting for third and inches. And that stuff that you see on Sunday, Saturday, Thursday, Monday, it's football. And I think Madden plays itself to a more casual crowd in the speed of the game, how it operates, and the feel of it. It feels fun, so to speak. I mean, I don't even know how to quantify that or give you a definition of it, but it feels fun. 2K feels more simulation style, grounded, and the feel of the players and how the game feels overall. And the only other thing that I probably could give Madden is probably the controls. I like the controls. I didn't like the button mashing of All Pro Football 2K8. But when it comes down to it, these, Madden, which is coming out, Madden 16 is coming. Joe Montana football is coming to be coming. And All Pro Football or 2K football, forget them. I'm tired of talking about 2K. Until they want to pony up and bring a game out, I'm tired of really talking about 2K. Even if they are the standard or not, I'm sick of talking of it. Because honestly, if Joe Montana can come out with an unlicensed game and you sat there, I don't want to hear about, you have much more of a reputation and smaller companies can do this and do that. I don't want to hear it. You made All Pro Football 2K, failed, and tucked your tail between your legs and ran off and left the community. And I don't get how the community just gets golden showers from 2K and accepts them. Like, please, yes, sprinkle on me. You're not putting out a football game, but you're the greatest. Oh, please continue to sprinkle on me. No, you need to put out a football game. And if this super secret sports company and Joe Montana can appease the community, because that's what it's about. If Joe Montana football comes out with no license, it's about the community. And people need to appreciate that. So here you have a company embracing the community to where you have one of the beloved sports gaming companies, 2K, not embracing the community and never putting out a football game again. So it has been two unlicensed people to come up behind you in All Pro Football 2K8 in Natural Motion, who knew nothing about football, and put out something that made Madden get on his horse. And here comes Joe Montana football, who, it remains to be seen what happens. But who knows? Joe Montana can come out on this Unreal Engine and be something that we've never seen before. And here you are, sitting on your hand. I'm sick of 2K now. Go ahead, Tim. I'm tired of talking about it. They piss me off.
Yeah, I feel you, man. And, as the show goes on, man, sometimes I feel like we need more than 2 hours, man. Sometimes we might have to extend it, but, just to try to hit this final topic, which, like I said, the other topic we'll try to get back to, but we'll leave that more to the callers, the 10 things that you want to see fixed in Madden gameplay-wise. And you know what? I hope we do get to that ourselves, because I don't know if there's actually 10 things that I can think of the top of my head, but we'll get to that. But anyway, I want to definitely address this real quick before we open it up to the callers. I do see that we have 2 callers in the queue. It looks like the first caller after 757, after he comes on, will be 404 and then 205. We have other callers in the queue. Don't forget, man, to press 1 if you want to speak, and we'll take your call in the order that it comes in. As well as, and there it is, I see 267 also. As well, if you're listening online, if you want to give us a call, you can reach us at 914-338-0794. And the only thing that we ask, man, just in case, the calls, we get more calls than expected, we just ask, definitely come in, get your point across, but we want to start asking that you keep it to a minimum, man, 2 or 3 minutes or so we can, go on to the next caller, but that's how that'll go. But shout outs to Mr. King Havo, man. He wanted us to talk about old football games, and we'll try to run through this quickly. But basically, he says that there are older football games that has plenty of life. I think all of us agree on that topic. And my question would be, before I throw it to Smitty, is, what are people doing to enjoy these games? Are they playing these games? Why aren't these games being supported? And, does it actually satisfy your football itch? Because personally, how I feel about it is, I think the main problem for me would be is just because not so much that it's an older game. It's just, I've said it before, man. I mean, it's tough for me to go back to an older console, per se, when I'm playing great games on that console. And then I got to go back to an old console to try to enjoy a football game. I mean, like some of you guys know, I got both next-gen consoles now, and they look beautiful. I'm playing NHL today. It's a beautiful looking game. And it just hurts me sometimes when I go back to the Xbox 360 and play 2K5. It just doesn't feel and move the same. Even though it's a wonderful game, it's just hard for me to play those old games because of that. It doesn't feel good because, of course, back then there was, the turnstile moving. Like Azur saw me on a live stream a few weeks ago playing 2K5, the turntable running and stuff. It just doesn't feel fluid, even though it's a phenomenal game. And I really think people just don't support it. You guys remember the video I did on 2K8 a year or two ago, showing you how many people were in the lobby? As much as people talk about 2K this and 2K that, there's only a handful of people who are actually really playing those games, or if they are, they're doing it behind closed doors because we don't see it. And that's unfortunate because, like he said, I want to mention this, what Havo said, you can edit these games. Like All Pro Football, of course, you know what you can do with that, with his editor. Of course, what you can do with Backbreaker. And that game still has a lot more to offer than what most people think. But again, I feel like with Backbreaker, because it was such a stripped down game, so to speak, it's hard to sometimes play that as well if I'm trying to play it beyond the physical aspect. But real quick, Smitty, how do you feel about that, man? Do you think, what's the main reason why, let's say, people are not really playing these old games?
Well, that's exactly it right there, because they're old. You know what I'm saying? Just to be, to be real brief about it, the reality is that there are not that many people that are online. If you recall, I'm pretty sure us on this call definitely remember when we were talking back then, doing vids talking about, man, we're going to do a community league and everything. And we didn't even get a full league together, let alone actually play a full season. And back then, that was like 2010. And even back then, you were lucky to have 50 people online playing APS. Today, they shut down one of the servers. You can't play online on PlayStation anymore. And I think on 360, you can only do versus match. And that's it. So you got people that have to do, and this is why I say shame on 2K, and people should be pissed off in regards to 2K and get at them because of what's the dude's name? Cameron has to do. You got to commentate CPU teams from a fictional league made up by the people, by the community. Like, yeah, that is fun from an entertainment standpoint, but it's a shame at the same time that 2K is just ignoring and dismissing, what I'm saying, the community like that. And saying, nah, you know what, we good. Nah, we not going, y'all do what y'all do. We good. And while, like I said, even Havo doing these efforts and everything, these editors and Flying Finn even, got a shout out to him. These editors being made and everything for all this editing and tuning and modifying. It's all because of what people, all these efforts got to be done. You're trying to squeeze juice out of this game, and 2K is not even paying attention to that and listening to the demand and saying, okay, let's go ahead and make this game. Let's make another APF for these guys. You know what I'm saying? Even if you don't have the Legends license, still, let's make another conscious football effort and make it fully customizable so that the people can make it. Make it the way they want to. You know what I'm saying? And then you could really do an SFL. You know what I'm saying? With full customized teams and online servers that are actually online going up against people. So, yes, that kind of stuff bothers me. And even with Backbreaker, when Backbreaker was hot, that due to that editor that was made, you had people online cheating. And on top of it, the game was highly exploitable. So you had a lot of people cheating online. And because the game didn't sell that well, you didn't have that many people online in the first place. So, yes, while the novelty value of how good the game is there, you're not going to have people tracking this stuff down now. Like, it's like tracking down Al Green's greatest hits. There aren't that many people looking for that CD, even though, yeah, it's got some bomb music on there if you love Al Green, but everybody's not going to be running for it now. You know what I'm saying? They're looking for something new to play. They're looking for something new to listen to, something that resembles Al Green. Same thing with football. The newest game. They want to play a new effort outside of EA. They want to play a new one, and that's why there's so much clamoring over Montana right now. But when we look at these old games, that's how I feel about it. You know, it's a disservice, even though the novelty of these games is still intact, but it's held together by a few. It's not by the many. You know, many will agree, but only few really act upon buying a game or getting a console so they can buy the game itself. You know, so, but I'll throw it to Azur.
Let me ask people this. Do you play tapes? Do you play VHS? Do you still have a VCR? Well, I don't see the point in going back and retreading this. Of course, it's good for nostalgic reasons. I understand some people haven't upgraded to PS4 and Xbox One, and everybody's not financially able. But see, what I did was I sold my old consoles, and that's what bought my PS4. I wasn't going to buy it outright. I said the collaborative effort of me having these two consoles and all my games, if that gets me enough to get a PS4, that's what I'm doing. I took it and I upgraded and I didn't look back. And it does pain me sometimes to see people playing All Pro Football 2K and know that I can't play it just for the nostalgic reasons of it. And I love to play the game. But just like Smitty said, let me put a hold on right here. First of all, something that I came across that we haven't talked about. And I don't know if the fellas know this or not, but 2K be on some shites, man. They shut down the servers for NBA 2K14.
Oh, yeah.
NBA 2K14 and said people would not lose their saves. They would just turn into offline saves, and you would go from BC to skill points. That turned out to be a lie. It corrupted people's files, and they just put out a message saying, you know, thank you for supporting 2K14. See you in 2K15. So basically, we shutting down the servers by our new game. 2K. This is the company that people treat like Tupac and Biggie. Oh, don't say nothing bad about them. But here's the company right here spitting on you again. They shut down the servers for 2K14. NBA 2K14 servers shut down. I just want to leave that out there. All right.
They did turn it back on though. They did turn it back on though.
When?
After people got upset, yeah, like yesterday I think, yeah, because of how upset everybody got because they did that. So they went in and turned it back on.
Why has it come to that? And if you can see people upset about that, how can you not see your football community upset that they don't have a game to play?
Exactly.
And see, here's the thing. I understand that people will say, oh, well, you're just catering to about maybe 1,000 people out of all the millions of people in the world. You think if you as 2K, who's known for putting out a great basketball game and having prior football games, put out a game unlicensed, that people wouldn't support it? Of course, you're not going to sell as much as NBA 2K because you have NBA attached to it. Truth be told, as much as people sit out here and say, that they hate Madden, they love the NFL so much that they won't buy an unlicensed game. So I really find it funny when Madden comes out and people say, you know, they're not buying it. They love the NFL, but they're not supporting Madden. And then they eventually cave because why? Like Smitty said, they want to play something late. That's late, something that's latest and greatest and new, as opposed to something old. And I've done the retro gaming aspect. I have a PS2, Slim, Sega Genesis, so I could go back and play all those old games. But you know what? It gets stale after a while. Just like how, if you're playing a VCR, ain't no skipping chapters, homie. You better fast forward and have super fast forward on that VCR. And it's the same kind of thing when you talk about gameplay. The gameplay of 2K8 is great because of what? Fundamentals being there and player abilities. If it didn't have player abilities, that game would be complete trash because it doesn't have a franchise mode. You can't extend it past one season. So you couldn't give the community a game that we can play longer than a season. You couldn't give us a franchise football game. even if you call it that, franchise football, 2K Sport, play longer than a season. Sorry, All Pro Football 2K8. We did you wrong with that one. And to say that there is no, regression or progression was ridiculous. You could have regressed people from gold stars to silver, from silver to bronze to no stars. Or, if you climb that ladder back up, go from bronze to silver, silver to gold. But, people, what do I know? What the hell do I know? I'm just a Chi-Town brother with a knives flow. So, we'll move on.
Pretty much, man. Till we blew in the face. And that's all I got to say. We can talk about that forever, but let's go ahead and move on, man. The call lines are now opening up. Definitely want to bring 757 in. We haven't heard from him in a while, just because of the last week's show, so we definitely want to give him his segment. And the lineup right now, again, is 404, 205, and 267. So we have 3 additional callers. If you're listening, guys, you want to call in again, 914-338-0794, press 1, and we'll bring you in. And again, just want to ask, keep the calls a little bit short, just in case more calls come in. We're down to 43 minutes, so we want to give everyone an opportunity to say what they have to say. So let's go ahead and get 757 in. 757, man. It's been a minute, man. How you been doing?
Oh, what's going on, fellas, man? How's everybody?
Good, man.
Good, man.
What's up, man?
I'm going to keep it simple today, man. I want to talk about next-gen contextual awareness. When we sit here and we're looking at Madden currently, they have to fix contextual awareness. I think a lot of the situations that I saw is based on what we see happening on Sundays. A lot of times, it's a real big eyesore in Madden. I'm playing an offline connected franchise. And fellas, it's almost totally different than what it is online. I've been to several places on the road, whether I'm playing against New Orleans. I heard a hootat in the background. I heard a defense when I'm on offense in the red zone. The crowds are louder. It's a lot of different elements that are going on offline connected franchise that I have never seen in an online connected franchise. All of that stuff has to start synchronizing. It has to start synchronizing. Next gen contextual awareness. I'm playing in an online connected franchise, and I play against a guy who's a pretty good player in my league, but he has 32 sacks with Bruce Irvin. And not because he's on the line of scrimmage. He takes Bruce Irvin and put him out there damn near the corner. And the contextual awareness of the left tackle does not recognize that the outside linebacker is on an outside technique. Contextual awareness, when you're playing in the league, the quarterback identifies the middle linebacker. The center identifies the front. The tackles, and when he identifies that, the offensive line then relays that information back to the quarterback, and then they have a chess game of, are we sliding left? Are we sliding right? Is the end in a on the line technique, or is it in a wide 9? Are they in a 3-4? Has the defensive end slide out? It's a lot of information that takes place in that. And that damn left tackle and right tackle understands what's going on outside of his shoulder, whether somebody's on him or if it's an outside linebacker outside of him. Contextual awareness. They got to fix that. I'm sick of seeing wideouts and defensive backs make unbelievable Lynn Swan catches. You throw a 5-yard out. You know the ball is almost 2.5 yards outside of that wide receiver. Somehow, this SOB still, and I've done it, caught balls like that. He'll dive and catch a ball that we know isn't catchable and keep his feet in bounds. Next gen contextual awareness. I don't mind the ball going out there and he making a dive and catch, but it's just off the tip of his fingers and the crowd go, oh. Because that's real life.
Oh, yeah.
I am sick of linebackers going curl or flat. You're running a comeback route, and this linebacker jumps or warps into a play, and he makes that play on the comeback. Listen, fellas, it's impossible for that linebacker to get there. The quarterback 9 times out of 10 is going to throw it over the linebacker's head into that gap, and he'll throw that comeback. He can't get there. We see it all the time. Them linebackers jumping like hell, and they can't get it. Contextual awareness is next generation. We got to stop letting this in an secondary. If somebody's on a fly route, I run a comeback or a dig route coming on the backside. That wide receiver's open. Listen, that DB does have no idea what the hell is going on behind him until you either heard the rise and fall of the crowd. Or then immediately you turn around and say, shit, somebody's caught a ball. And then you begin to chase. When you're going to throw that ball and immediately, whether it's Richard Sherman or Patrick Peterson, whoever had his corner in, he immediately comes off his receiver. Contextual awareness, he can't do that. He has no fucking idea what's behind him. He don't know. So everybody's, well, how would you implement it to the system? Once you click to that receiver that's closer to that man, he has to take a gather step and then turn and try to make a play. That's realistic. Because in real life, you got to gather your feet, turn around, and then look and say, all right, I'm a player. I got to take him to the sideline. Contextual awareness. Now, Madden has done some really good things. One thing they do have is when the running back puts his hand on the offensive lineman, but what they don't tell you is with the running back, the only way he sticks his hand out is based on his awareness. I've done that play 100 times with 100 different running backs, man. And the only ones who stick their hands out are the guys who got high awareness. I don't have a problem with that because that's more realistic. But, man, you have to explain these steps to us when you put this information. It's a lot of stuff in man that is not explained. There's a lot of people know that when you go to throw the fly route and you realize that the DB is going to pick it off, that you can push L1 as a receiver and become a defensive back. You got to, when you drop this on us, because I believe they're going to drop something heavy on us, fellas, tell them to give us a tutorial and fix contextual awareness. Changes happen. We know what the changes are, what buttons to push. Now, community, what we can't do is complain and bitch and moan about getting a simulation game and not wanting to learn a new interface. You can't get that. Now, if they change a lot of stuff, are you willing to push triangle, L1, and R2 at the same time or in sequence for a player to make a move? So as they give us information, there's more buttons that have to be pushed on the controller. And what we can't do is when we get these things in these video games, complain. Because when you play golf and you use the wrong club and you hit it too far, everybody doesn't have a problem with it. In soccer, in baseball, you don't have a problem with any of those things. I didn't read the curveball right. He threw a slider. Then you can't be upset when you throw into a double coverage and your ass get picked off. You read the defense wrong. Figure out how to beat a cover 2. Figure out how to beat a cover 3. Figure out the game of football. Learn it. Lab it. And then play it. And stop complaining and moaning. Because if they give us what we really want, can you guys really fucking handle it? Excuse my language. Contextual awareness. We need it. Madden. Fix contextual awareness for us, man. Let's give it to us and let the people learn how to play it. Because all is forgiven in FIFA. All is forgiven in Major League Baseball. All is forgiven in the golf game. Those guys have no problem with the technical aspects of those sports. Stop acting like it ain't no technique or it ain't no formula or it ain't no learning curve to the game of professional football. Guys, I appreciate y'all talking. I know y'all carrying y'all butt down there soon. Y'all gathering that information, man. Y'all are the voice for us. Fuck those guys on Twitter who's talking that noise, man. We need the information to be delivered. For y'all to bring the information back to us so we can keep giving y'all the information to improve the game of Madden. I can't talk about John Madden because I don't know what they got. And until they show us, forget that, man. I got to go with what I got. What that is for me is Madden football. Man, I appreciate y'all time. I know I ran over a little bit. I ain't talked in a minute. I got some things on my chest. because Madden 16 is coming. I need them guys to give us what we need, man. I appreciate y'all time.
Appreciate it.
Yeah, man. And you know, one thing. I just want to say this real quick, Tim, before we get to the calls here, real quick.
Yeah, go ahead.
Oh, I'm sorry. All right, no, I just want to throw, just to piggyback off of 757, just to throw out a little nugget. You know what I'm saying? I know usually Sim is the one that gives the nuggets and the little dibbles and dabbles and all that, but I'm just going to put it like this. It's pretty much something that we've already said. If you listen to the show, I'll just put it like this. Madden 13 was a full dev cycle, okay? Madden 25 and Madden 15 were short dev cycles. Madden 16 is a full dev cycle. Now, I'm going to let you just think about that. That's all I'm going to say. But just think about that.
Smitty being slick out there.
And that's all I'm going to say. And we've said this before, but I'm just putting it in sequential order. Okay? So just let you ponder on that. Just keep that all in mind. So go ahead. Go ahead, Phil. Just want to say that real quick.
Yeah, man. It's going to be funny. That's all I'm going to say. I can't wait to see the crowd reaction. I'm going to leave it at that. And let me say this. Do not take what we're saying as we're saying Madden 16 will be the best game ever. Listen. Just listen to what we're trying to tell you. I can guarantee you, when that game drops, there is no way in the world, if you're really a part of this community, that you won't believe that the direction is changing in that company. I'm going to give you that. But 757, appreciate it, man. I appreciate that passion. I felt like I was listening to a Ray Lewis speech right there. I really appreciate that, man. But you're absolutely right. And you've hit probably a good 5 to 6 of my top 10 list items there. So hopefully we get back around to that part. Guys, we're at 32 minutes. We have 4 calls in the queue. I'm going to ask you guys, like I said, 757 doesn't really have a time limit. He has a segment here on the show. But guys, if you guys can please keep it to about 2 to 3 minutes, just so we can be fair to everybody and get everybody in. And if we have time later, then maybe we can bring everybody back in. So it's 404. Smitty will give you your reply. 205. Azul will give you yours. I will respond to 267, and then 337 will come back to Smitty. All right, so we're getting 404 in. Got you live on the show, man. How you doing?
Hey, what's up, guys?
Oh, what's going on,
man?
Just real quick, with the whole top 10 things that Madden needs to change, I don't think there's 10 specific. The game itself is not a bad game, but it just, in my opinion, it's a good game for 5 years ago. This was everything you would have thought you wanted 5 years ago before, let's say, the backbreaker physics engine and all that stuff. It was a great game, but I think it's outdated because of the fact that the engine still isn't a next-gen engine per se, as far as the way it's being used for the game. There's still a lot of things that are still scripted as far as, players sucking in, like a running back won't even touch his lineman in front of him, but he'll shift to the right just so he can line up for a tackle that's being shifted into him. So there's a lot of things that's still scripted, and football is supposed to be, organic and chaotic. Even a game like 2K8, it was organic for the most part. There was still suction tackling, but you expected that. It was a 2007 game, especially when you look at hindsight now. But
real quick, just ask while you're on here, real quick. What sports game right now has a next gen engine in your opinion?
Oh, I was just about to say that I think all sports games are pretty much broken. Like,
okay,
I played hockey, NHL. I like NHL. I think NHL and the show have probably the best engines, but I also think they're compared to a game like football with so many interactions, their game it may be a little easier to create those interactions without breaking the game. Football is extremely chaotic, so it's harder to create all those different interactions. But as far as the contextual awareness that 757 is talking, he's absolutely on point. but also the procedural awareness where because there's a lot of things that go on with the human body that you can't replicate with a face button. You know, pressing A to do this. So the players have to become a lot more intelligent on the field. Natural motion when it backbreaker, I remember one play, I was the quarterback, I'm scrambling. My lineman got too close to me and the quarterback takes his hand off the ball, his non-thrown hand off the ball, puts it on his lineman's back so he can create space so he can make a play. You know, that's things that you can't do from a face button perspective, where the AI of the game actually has to keep up with what's going on the field and actually make their own decisions. And that was one of the things that Madden promised that we never really got. But as far as top 10, there's really no top 10. It's just a matter of if you can get the physics right, player movement right, and the AI, that's all there is, you know, when it comes to a sports game. If you could just I think Madden is progressing, but all games are supposed to progress, you know, so I can't give it credit for doing what it's supposed to be doing, but it's another thing to innovate. And I think that's what a lot of people are waiting for. You know, you get this license, you got the ESPN license, and, you know, it feels like we're still behind the curve when, you know, hindsight says, okay, you know, at this point, Xbox One, PCs out there, all this, there's so much power out there to create these fantastic environments and fantastic games. And it doesn't seem like we're there yet, but we're making steps. And, you know, as a consumer, you know, I don't really care how the, you know, how the hot dog is made, you know, kind of thing, you know, I just want the hot dog, basically. I don't care, you know, about it going through the grind and all that stuff. Just give me the product that, you know, that you promised. So it's just one of those things where there's no 10 specific things. The game is a good game. It would have been a better game years ago, but it's a good game now, but it's not what we expected 10 years ago. So you get the physics right, you get the play movement right, and you get the AI to, you know, be humanly intelligent as far as, you know, being able to do things that you can't do with a face button, a la backbreaker. And you have, you know, that's pretty much all people are looking for, I think. You know, the franchise mode, I think franchise is a big issue too, because as a sports game, we want to build our teams. My team is cool, or Ultimate Team is cool, but the franchise mode has to be, you know, on another level coming up this year. Because, I mean, that's a big thing, being able to build your team, being able to use your favorite players, drafting and all that stuff. And it's just not there. I mean, I play Madden occasionally now because it's free on EA Access. And I usually just play it online because there's no excitement in playing offline. You know, so I go online, I play, it's fun. You know, the fun factor is always going to be there because it's competition. But the game factor, the technique involved in playing a football game and, you know, understanding football, you know, you can still, I wouldn't play any game just off technique of understanding.
Yeah, thanks for the call, man. Yeah. We got to move on. Don't mean to cut you off, but we definitely got to move on, man. We got 4 more calls, looks like, in the queue. But Smitty, go ahead and give your reply.
Yeah, I was gonna say real quick that, I mean, like, I agree on all the points you made. You can beat guys using fundamental tactics in Madden, because I see that in NY Kia. He always displays that with his videos, breaking down defensive styles and schemes that he uses when playing people online, you know what I'm saying, or in league games, or just general breakdown. So it is getting more and more there, but there's a lot more work that needs to be done. But as far as the points you made, like, I definitely agree with everything you're saying there. So, you know, but just for the sake of time, I won't really elaborate. But we could go ahead to the next caller here.
Yeah, we'll go ahead and bring in 205, and Azul will give you your reply. And again, just to say this, we're not trying to be mean or anything like that, guys. We just feel like that this show will grow. You know, the more and more we continue doing it, we're going to have more calls. So we need to start getting into a habit now of, you know, getting to your point quick and allow us to answer, because, you know, as we get bigger, hopefully that's what we're shooting for. There's going to be a whole lot of calls, so we can't allow, even us, we're going to have to start shortening up our discussions as well. Yeah. All right, so 205, we got you in live on the show, man. How you doing tonight?
Pretty good. How are y'all guys?
Good, man.
What's going
on? Real quick, my big problem right now with the community is that everybody has taken this game as far as Madden goes, and they have basically taken a wrecking ball to this game, and they have picked and poked and pried apart. Like they've almost stripped it apart like it's a vehicle. Like a vehicle that's been wrecked and now you take it to the body shop and then you're the irate customer who, no matter what somebody does to try to get it fixed for you, no matter if they pull the dents out, if they go ahead and they put some Bondo on there to fix this part that you messed up, and then you go take it to the paint and all this, and then you wash it, you bring it out there and it's looking like a shiny penny. At the end of the day, you're going to sit there and go, well, it's still not what it was. And at the end of the day, you're really not going to get what it used to be. Because think about this. You go back to 2005, and I understand that people are in love with 2K and 2K5, but this isn't 2004 anymore. And nobody can do anything about EA owning the license for 10, 11 years or however long it is. The only thing we can do is push forward and hope to get a better game. And all this going back and forth about the past, it's nothing nobody can do about it. It's just, water under a bridge. And you have to give that up and look forward to what they're doing now. And yes, I understand that we got Joe Montana, but we don't even know what Joe Montana is. So until they give us something, it's all speculation. And it's nice to go back and remember the good times. We all love to do that. But you know what? You can't live in the past. And if you want to move forward, that's fine. If you want to live in the past, that's also fine. That's your choice. But as for me, I'm just hoping this community can just get on an even playing field, which I know it never will. And understand that, all we can do is hope, that we can get football as close as we can see on Saturday, Sunday, and Monday nights. Y'all have a great night. I hope y'all have a great show. And I'm always with y'all guys. Peace.
All right, man. Appreciate the call, as always. 205, one of our loyal listeners and callers and participants of SimFBall Radio League. And you make great points, man. Don't live in the past. Come up to where we are now, man. Join in on what we're doing now. Positivity. We got 2 football games coming, supposedly, and the future looks bright, man. Let's support Joe Montana if it actually drops on console. And Madden 16, if it's a great football effort, support it. Like 757 said, you can't get what you ask for, then complain about it. And we'll move on to the next caller.
Yes, indeed, man. So 267, we got you in live on the show, man. How you doing tonight?
Hey, what's happening, fellas? What's happening? Hey, listen,
what's going on?
This jump, man. I touched y'all. I tweeted y'all earlier. But look, this is what I got, man. My own gripe with Madden is that doggone work animation when you go for a tackle, when you hit the A button to make a tackle from like that vision cone tackling system.
Mm-hmm.
Get that out of here, please. Get that out of here. I mean, I can't tell you how many times I had Jamal Charles going to the outside. I'm going to go break to the outside off the weak side, and I got a linebacker that's coming from the middle of the field to come make a tackle. I mean, I don't understand it. I don't understand it. But another thing I just want to throw out there, man. I know EA. I've been playing EA for a while, man. You can consider me a fan, man. I'm glad that they make a stride. I thank y'all for what y'all do in the community. Another thing is, though, what I think that they should bring back, and I'm a big fan of it. Madden 2005 was the best defensive game to me. Yeah, it had its flaws, but the Tony Bruno show, bring that back to the franchise. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Bring that back. Bring that newsletter back. You understand what I'm saying? I can't tell you how many times I had T.O. on the front of the cover talking about he's going to pursue a career in acting and all this little extra nonsense. You know what I'm saying? So it was fun, man. It was immersive. It was immersive, man. And shout out to my man 757. You understand what I'm saying? Because he killed it. All this old bickering like females. Truly, we don't get down like that. You know what I'm saying? Like all that bickering like females and chit chatting. That's for females, man. Y'all leave that alone, man. You know what I'm saying? Sam, I respect you, man. You understand what I'm saying? I respect you for what you do and how you hold it down on Twitter, man. You know what I'm saying? Like real men, we don't get down like that. You know what I'm saying? So once again, thank you, fellas. I appreciate it. EA, bring back that Tony Bruno show, man. I love it, man. I need that back in my life, man. If y'all can, please. And the last thing I want to say is just the O-line interactions as far as with the running backs and things like that. Like I think that they, like the A and B gats. You know what I'm saying? When I'm trying to hit those gats, sometimes I get sucked into my old line again. You know, just little stuff, man. Like I think they could tweak that. Other than that, man, fellas, have a good one, man. That's my 2 minutes. Have a good one, bro.
Man, we definitely appreciate you calling, man. I don't think you called before, so and I could be wrong, but either way, we appreciate you calling. And like you said, man, the bickering and all, I just don't get it. Like you said, real recognize real, man. And it's very evident the real ones call the show, the real ones tweet you, the real ones send you messages. I don't understand that kind of behavior. That's why I said earlier, sometimes it feels like the fem community versus the sim community. But thank you for your point. And it seems like there's a little bit of a theme where a lot of people are saying some of the same things what they want to see clean. And like I said, it was a reason behind the madness as to why Azor asked that question. And we'll definitely, reveal that, I guess, when we can. Or maybe if we have some time after this next caller. We do have about 18 minutes. But again, thanks for the call, man. And we're going to continue to do what we do for you guys, man. For you guys who appreciate the movement, we appreciate you as well. 337, we're going to bring you in. Smitty will handle your reply. What's going on, man? How you doing tonight?
I'm doing all right, man. I just want to share some news real quick. Monday, I was diagnosed with diabetes. In 2005, I was diagnosed with paranoid schizophrenia. So now I got 2 little issues, mentally and physically, going on now. So I'm just hoping for a better Madden game, just to uplift my spirits this year. The one thing that I hate about Madden, even though I'm a Madden fan, not a fanboy, but just a Madden fan, is that on Connect the Franchise, they have to fix that, your players, could be the top sack leader, but they won't show them on the stats as a stat leader in the stat categories. And also that they dip you sometimes of your stats. Like you could get a sack with a cornerback. I'm not a cornerback, but a lineman. But at the end of the game, it doesn't show on the stat that they record that sack, and then they don't even record your XP for your performance. And it's like it gets real frustrating because I remember in 2008, you be trying to work out your players, and sometimes you try to do the 40-yard dash, and you're pushing the things, but nothing's happening. He's just running at the normal pace, and it's like they won't let you train your players, but they'll let you go in there, but they won't let you do anything. So it's like another one of those flaws with the Connect the Franchise or franchise mode that I just always hated about Madden sometimes is that they put all these things in there, but it's buggy, So that's the only thing I have to say, and I'll turn you guys over. And thanks for letting me talk on your show.
Sure, no problem, man. And whatever issue it is that you got going on, definitely we'll be praying for you in that regard. You know what I'm saying? But we definitely hope that, Madden, in general, like, if you seek comfort in gaming, that, no doubt that'll definitely be quenched, like, hopefully, and like we said before, we got 2 games that are coming out that are on the docket for the football gaming arena. So hopefully it's a trade-off, you know what I'm saying? Madden has some things that Montana doesn't and vice versa. You know what I'm saying? So, and at the same time, we chopping these games down each brick by brick in the communities in order to get, even better football games out of both companies. So, that's definitely looking forward to come this summer. Well, actually in about a month and a half, 2 months away. We're gonna at least know what's up with Madden, but I hope we find out the same thing with this Montana project. And yeah, of course, like you were saying about the CFM. Overall, CFM needs a whole lot of work in general, a whole lot of work. So hopefully, like I said, we're going to see what these guys do in terms of correcting problems and at the same time making some tweaks and refinements, like, to better the experience overall, because ultimately it's all about the immersion factor, like we always state here. And you need the gameplay, but you also need the modes that are going to enhance the gameplay and give the product longevity. So we're going to see. We'll see what happens.
Yeah, man, and definitely, Smitty already said it, but get well, man. We'll keep you in prayer. And listen, man, not a lot of these things that people are diagnosed with, a lot of times if you keep your faith, they can be beat. I've known several people that, and we know how it is, not trying to take it to the race card and nothing like that. But, let's be honest, in our community, we know, all of us know people who have been diagnosed with diabetes, whether it's, a lot of times it's type 2, and sometimes you can fix that with diet, exercise, or what have you. So, I'm going to think positive for you. Beat these things. Don't let it beat you. And it's cool to hear you say, man, maybe you can find happiness somewhere else. And at the same time, listen to what this man is saying. He got real life issues to deal with, but meanwhile, people want to argue about a video game. But just to try to get back to that topic, man, we got about 13 minutes here, so we'll try to run through it a little bit. And I know exactly what Azur was doing when he asked this question. It's basically, guys, we definitely want to hear the pulse of the community, and we also want to see how Madden 16 would fare with some of the things that people are asking for. That's going to be very important. Another reason why I know he asked the question is because, same reason why I asked the question. A lot of the people who do all the complaining and beefing and all of that, they haven't called the show. I know they're listening because they seem to always know what we're talking about. And so, where's your top 10? What would you like to see fixed as far as gameplay? Why do you hate Madden? We want to hear these things. This is what this show was about. But, I'm pretty sure I'll get the text or not the text because nobody knows me personally, but I'll get a tweet or whatever saying this is why it sucks and blah, blah, blah. That's what they always do. But I'll say real quick, man, and then throw it to Smitty. 757 pretty much hit most of my points, as well as everybody who called. We wanted to keep it all gameplay, but definitely some of the CFM things you guys said I agree with as well. But for me, guys, it's got to start with, just on the field. I want to see everything respected. I need the physics to respect the body. I would like the physics to be, based off of momentum and speed and stature and weight and things like that. DB and wideout interactions, definitely needs to be fixed and implemented because the type of stuff I want to see is definitely not in the game. I want to see these guys fight for the ball. I want to see a receiver win the battle, and sometimes I want to see the DB win the battle, and maybe the DB take the ball from the receiver and vice versa, and jostling and hand fight. You think about football. When you watch football, it starts in the trenches, and a lot of times it ends on the outside. Let's just think about that. Those trenches dictate everything. It dictates the running lane, pass rush, the fight for every yard, game of inches. That starts in the trenches. Big plays, where does that happen? On the outside. And it's not always, downfield. Sometimes it's, first 5 yards. Who gets beat on the press? Who gets pressed up? Look at the Super Bowl. When you really break down that play, the reason why your man wasn't open or, he wasn't the first option, he won't go into him. You find out later, your man Browner, or whatever his name is, pressed old boy so bad, it forced Russell into a quick decision. A bad decision. See what I'm saying? Starts and ends, man. The trenches and the outside. That's football. We got to have that. We got to see that Dez Bryant catch at Green Bay with him going up, him and the receiver both going after the ball, and he coming away with it. Unfortunately, it wasn't a catch. We got to see that Beckham catch, that interaction, him putting his hand on the guy and the guy pulling him down. That's football, bro. So that's one of my main things, the passing game. And I know I'm probably taking some of the thunder, so anything that I don't mention, guys, just fill in. We got to see that kind of stuff, man, and the individuality. And to me, like I said, I don't know if I have 10 actual fixes. And that's actually a good thing. You really think about it. We're talking about tweaks and implementation in certain areas. Just like my man said, 404. I give you credit for that. Like he said, it really ain't 10 things. If you just make these things work, we got a game on our hands. So those are the main things that I've been fighting for. My guys here, we've been fighting for. We need to see some of these things definitely in Madden 16. We definitely need to see these things. But Smitty, what else outside of those things, man? Is anything else pressing that I may have forgotten? I'm sure I did.
Shoot. I mean, the main things, honestly, like I look back at old videos, like when we had first went down to EA and looked at those feedback videos where we, that we had gathered from people. And I mean, the main thing that I take is, we need to see, like you, I mean, you technically did take a good amount of that thunder away. Like, 'cause my main thing would have been like the wide out DB interactions. I mean, I would like to see the passing game be a lot more refined. I definitely want to see the trench battle be a lot more involved, a lot more authentic, a lot more authenticity to it. You know what I'm saying? As well as the logic, just overall the logic that's being refined in terms of the game. That's something that is lacking right now that I definitely want to see better. And these are all elements that, when we played this game back then, we were all like really, we were all really, really excited for and made us look forward to the next game based off of it. So it's the same kind of deal here. Like, these are the kind of things that at least I'm looking at to be refined. So we'll see what they do. But I'm gonna kick it to Azura and give his thoughts.
Yeah, just to echo what's already been said, wide receiver DB interactions, better contextual awareness from the running backs, the passing game. Oh my gosh, man. Being able to throw in the seams. Right now, I'm having so much frustration with the passing game and trying to lead receivers and throw a receiver open that you can't even do. Better scouting in CFM. CFM having features like for commissioners. Like CFM needs to have auto sim wins, auto sim loss, that type of stuff, to where I don't have to deal with the bickering when somebody can't show up for a game or somebody played the game wrong and broke some rules and I can't reset the game. Like, that kind of stuff needs to be addressed too. I know we're talking about gameplay, but that just popped in my mind because I got a league game to play. Excuse me. But it's just little stuff, man, that they could improve upon, like 404 said, that would make the game better. Oh, and tackling. Oh, man, they got to shore up the tackling. Like, I still love to see defensive tackles and linebackers reach tackle on inside runs and, on inside HB blasts, HB dives that just become utter chaos in Madden 15. Like, if you play Madden 15 right now, you'll know you can get a running back like Eddie Lacy and Marshawn Lynch, and he'll just fall in the animation for 3-4 yards. And that's the kind of stuff, man, you can't be giving away inches like that in a football game. But true enough, I understand that you want to replicate that those are big backs and they fall forward for yards, but the way that they, like we said, aesthetically show you this and the way that it's communicated on screen is not a good look. So, yeah, clean that stuff up. So, tackling, passing, wide receiver, DB interactions, I mean, I don't think it's too much to ask to clean up the game that we have and innovate at the same time, all the while giving customers, bang for their buck. Because you're paying $60 for a game and you want to get your money's worth out of it. So, we'll see how this and Montana does. I'm hoping, like we said, we get some news on that soon. I'm tired of waiting on that. It's starting to piss me off like 2K.
Absolutely. And how could I forget, man? You got my back there. The tackling, man. In addition to what Azor said, I want real gang tackles. I don't want to see nobody get flying off. I want to see as many as 4 to 5 people on a tackle. To me, my idea of physics should be Remember ProTac? If ProTac had physics, we might have had a good game. That's what I need these physics to be like, especially looking at NHL's physics. We need to see that. And the AI. I could talk forever about AI, but overall player awareness, player sense 6.0. Forget 2.0, because all the stuff 757 was saying, and he was saying contextual awareness, which I understand exactly what he's saying, but a lot of that also, too, is player sense, because they said they would act like human players. Recognize what's happening. Whoa, why is that dude lining up way out there? Why is he in the wide 9? Why is the linebacker inside? You don't want to see the lines, react to what's happening. Just all of that. But we do have a caller, man. 330. We have 3 minutes and 45 seconds. So we're going to have to give you about a minute. But because you're in, let's definitely get you in. If I can get over here to the to the talk button. All right, here we go. 330, man. How you doing tonight? We got you in real quick.
Appreciate it, man. This is y'all probably done seen me on Twitter or whatever, man. This is Stokes 5363.
Oh yeah, what's up?
Yeah, what's up, man? What's up, man? I've been listening to the whole show. I basically agree with everything y'all was saying. It's little things that they need to clean up. I think the frustrating part for people is that when we say these things every year, then you don't see the progression, and it's stuff that you can give them credit for. Like zone defense, it's better. Defense is better, but I feel like sometimes the defense is better because they make the players just psychically, just know what the play is so that a certain outcome can happen, basically just scripted gameplay. And then, the players have to move more lifelike. They got to move more lifelike. When the player gets tackled, they don't even bend at the hips, kind of. It's kind of like they just stiff boards and they just fall over like pinballs, almost like going to a bowling alley. But if they can get all of that cleaned up, and especially the run game, get more, and I don't know how they could do it, but, more animations, man. It seems like we've been seeing the same animations, for a while as well. And, if they get there, as far as on the gameplay, like I think Azur was saying, the passing, man, it's frustrating. The passing is just frustrating, man. I can't, man, it's just like, it's what makes you quit, man. It's like, I've seen this dude open and he goes into some animation that's not even needed. And then, he fumbles the ball or something happens. And it's just like, man, that wasn't even needed. That goes back to the awareness factor. Triggering the right animations at the right time, like I was talking about the Marshawn Lynch. They just make you, if it's first down, the player needs an inch, they just automatically go in. You might stop them at the end of the line, but he goes into that animation and he gets 3 yards automatically just because he got the animation. Like, I just set up my D and everything. It's cool, So that's what kind of where I'm at, man. But like I said, man, and this thing of bickering between the Montana team and the Madden team, that's got to stop. I'm all for 2 good games, you know what I'm saying? And I always wanted 2 good football games, and I think that's what we'll get, innovation. I know Rex said we getting wide receiver DB interactions this year, so I hope that's in there, but not only be in there, but they take advantage of the chess aspect of the DVs, trail technique, bump and run, left, bumping how to play the cover off and on. So hopefully they put all that stuff in and it'll work out, man. But they just got to fix the engine, man. I don't know if it's just the engine or.
Man, sorry to cut you off, man. We're down to 30 seconds. We got to get out of here. But, yeah, call back again, man, because, we definitely want to finish the conversation because that's what I was saying. I was messing with you earlier when I said y'all worried about me tweeting Damon. Like, why does it matter? Well, we appreciate your call. Like you said, we got to end the bickering, man. What's that for? Let's just get these games and do what we can. 10 seconds here, so I'm going to wrap it up for the guys. We all appreciate the calls. Thanks for all the love. We'll be back next Thursday with another live show. And don't forget to check out the archive show. All right.
Don't forget, guys, every Thursday night, 8 p.m. Eastern, Sim Standard Radio. If you want to reach us, you can give us a call at 914-338-0794. For more content, click the link above.